Melanie Stansbury is going to win Deb Haaland's old congressional seat in New Mexico, the 1st congressional district. Where does Melanie Stansbury stand on the issues? Well, she's in favor of universal health care. She says that health care is a human right. She's for Medicare For All legislation. She's in favor of a federal assault weapons ban. She's in favor of the D.C. statehood movement. She wants to cancel student loan debt. She's in favor of marijuana legalization. She's pro-choice, affordable child care, pro-infrastructure for waters, roads, internet. She's going to address the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives in New Mexico, which has one of the worst crises in all the United States. She's also anti-racist, pro-environment, family and medical leave. She wants it. She's also pro-union. Her mother tried to unionize Levi's, failed, got fired, banned from working at all Levi's factories. So here is Melanie Stansbury. Hopefully you can hear this. And just to give you a sense of what she sounds like and what, what her passion is. Where does she come from? What, what inspires her? What motivates her?
Hey, well, good evening, everyone. Labor is in the house. Thank you, DPNM Labor Caucus. And
Labor's in the house, right? So she's pro-labor. And frankly, how can you not be pro-labor? Who the fuck is going to get your shit done if you don't believe in labor?
Because I believe deeply in our people, in our workers, and in our communities to bring meaningful change to New Mexico and to our country. I grew up in a labor family, like many of the folks who've talked tonight, and right before this forum, I actually talked to my mother, who is my labor hero. And I'm going to start actually with a few numbers. In fact, one particular number that she shared with me this evening, and that's 78,000. 78,000 is the number of pockets my mom sewed at the Levi factory here in Albuquerque before she was fired for trying to organize the garment workers.
So Melanie Stansbury's mother had got fired for trying to unionize the garment workers' Levi's plant in Albuquerque. In Albuquerque. These are some humble origins. Usually it's like, my parents were doing some janitor job or garbage worker or something, and she's saying, well, her mother got fired because she wanted to unionize the plant, so didn't even have a job. That's pretty humble. Also very awesome, and shows you the sacrifice that the Stansburys had to make, to do what they believed was right.
My mom ultimately was able to prevail in her case in the National Labor Relations Board, but she lost her job, and she was banned from working at any Levi factory ever again. But my mom is a woman who is undeterred, and she was going to get the job done. So she took a job as a union dispatcher at the operating engineers. And when she was struggling to support our family, she dispatched herself as one of the very first operating engineers at the San Juan power plant and machine operators that had ever worked at that facility, because she knew that she could get the job done. And that's where I learned to work hard, and that's where I learned to get the job done, which brings me to my next set of numbers, which is 38,000. 38,000 is the number of knocks and calls we made here in House District 28. When we flipped this district in 2018, and I stepped up to run for office for the first time ever in my life, and it was labor that helped me get the job done. In fact, it was the plumbers and pipe fitters, Local 412, that actually was the first organization to believe in me, to endorse me in this race. It was the firefighters and teachers and building trades, the public workers, postal workers, and food workers who showed up and canvassed every weekend, night after night, to help us win this race, that helped us do those 38,000 knocks and calls. And it was two members of AST, two teachers, teaching assistants, named Eloisa and Helen, who I learned on election night had literally knocked doors for me for months.
So that's Melanie Stansbury. She's a progressive. They're trying to paint her up as like this overly radical person who wants to get rid of all the prisons and let all the criminals just run free and all this other crazy shit. She's probably a commie. I'm sure that came out, socialist. She's a commie. They're talking about nationalizing mining and oil and the hydroelectric plants and Peru, right? That's what they're talking about, nationalizing. She doesn't know about nationalizing any of these industries whatsoever. So I would just put her firmly as a progressive. She's a progressive, and that's fantastic because there's not many progressives in Congress. So watch out, Congress. You got 10 progressives in Congress, you're going to get one more. Melanie Stansbury. She wants universal health care. Oh, shit. Watch out. She might try to force the vote. She might actually think that health care is a human right. She might actually put her money where her mouth is. So congratulations to Melanie Stansbury one last time, so that way you know where she stands on the issues. She's in favor of unions. She's pro-family and medical leave. She's anti-racist. She's in favor of the environment. She's going to address the missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives crisis, which is, you know, first I actually heard of this, and New Mexico has it the worst. So, yeah, you got to do something about that. She's in favor of infrastructure. She says water, roads, internet, that's infrastructure to her. Pro-choice. So, you know, abortions will stay legal, rare, safe, and legal. So pro-choice, affordable child care, marijuana legalization, canceling student debt, D.C. statehood, a federal assault weapons ban, and Medicare for All. Maybe we could actually be a civilized nation and join the rest of the civilized nations, or no? Caring about the health and the lives of your own people, that's not a quality in leadership. Get the fuck out of here. So there you go. Melanie Stansbury going to go to D.C., kick ass and take some names.